Sharing Space
on the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
Time for the Sharing Space. This is where we share our stories about everything and anything. If you want to share your story with us, you can send an email on cm@702.co.za. It could be about anything that happened at work, that happened at home with your kids, in your relationship, while you were flying to another place somewhere, while you were sitting in a boardroom, or something that just you've been thinking about internally. Some of you often ask advice from some of our listeners. Some of you just share stories and ask if listeners have been through the same things. So today we've got an email from somebody. We'll find out now as I read it. But it goes like this. Hi, Clement and team. Please could your listeners give me some advice? My friends and I are all in our early 30s and we normally hang out every other weekend. There's one particular friend of mine who is really starting to get on my nerves. The reason for this is that he seems to have no regard for current affairs and news that affects him as an adult male living in South Africa. He never knows what is happening in the country and seems to get the little news that he does from unreliable sources. I really find it careless for him to be a grown man who still says news is boring, especially because when we have conversations based on current affairs, his opinion is always flimsy and ill-informed. When the snow happened in KwaZulu-Natal last year, he was one of the people who drove down even after warnings because he doesn't really listen to the news. With the news cycle as busy as it is, he's always sending amapiano songs or memes about ridiculous stuff when we discuss serious topics on our group. My other friends say that I'm being snobby, but I really am bothered by his behavior. I'm not saying he should watch the news all the time, but to not even know what we are being threatened, that we're being threatened by the US is ridiculous. Should I tell him that he needs to grow up and consume more current affairs at least once a day, or would that be overstepping? And that's the key question, isn't it? If Anonymous tells the friend that you need to grow up, consume more current affairs at least once a day, wouldn't he be overstepping? Let me know. 011-883-0702. What are your thoughts on this? I think we all have at least one friend who just never follows the news. So my thing is, always I've got a rule with my friends, is I am not going to have a debate or a conversation with someone who is going to come from an uninformed point of view. And what do I mean by that? So if someone tells you something that is not true and you give them the facts and you show them the evidence that they got it wrong and they still want to insist on that point, that's where I draw the line. So I'm not going to waste time having a conversation with you about that. What I've tried to do with such friends is I will take their phones when I'm with them and I will download, like, for instance, the News 24 app. Make sure that they're on the primemediaplus.com so that they can get the updates. Make sure I upload CNN or the BBC, or just subscribe to the New York Times, the Washington Bureau. It could be anything, the Guardian. Just have some perspective, especially when you're a professional. But the reality is there are people who just don't give a hoot. There are people who will not know who the president of the US is, even when it's just been everywhere, which I actually think is a bit irresponsible. I mean, if you are a professional, that's a bit wild, no? For you not to even know the basics of basics when it comes to international affairs or local issues. You don't have to listen to talk radio. Even when you listen to commercial music radio stations, there are news there. What happens when they play news? You switch off? I don't think that should be encouraged. What are your thoughts on what Anonymous is saying? Because Anonymous says, should I tell my friend that, you're in your 30s, grow up, consume some current affairs at least once a day, or would he or she or they be stepping the line? 011-883-0702. WhatsApps 072-702-1702. Let's talk.
Morning, Climate. This is Joseph from Alberton. or rather SK. No, people are different, man. So that guy that is calling saying that his friend doesn't know about current affairs, maybe he needs new friends because people are different. You can't be forcing someone to have interest on current affairs because you even have friends that don't like sport at all. So we are different as people.
Hi, Clement. Hi to the 702 listeners. So I think that Anonymous is definitely overstepping. I do think it's a valid issue to have that you have a friend that is not interested in current affairs or interested in what's going on in the country or the world. I know that I personally would have an issue with this as well. But I do think that Anonymous is overstepping in trying to get the friend to conform to what their idea of being an adult or a grown-up is. I think it's just a thing of like having to accept that that is not the interest of your friend. Your friend does not care about current affairs and politics. Accept your friend for who they are, and then you then decide how much you want to interact with that person, knowing who they are. Especially if maybe Anonymous has tried to make their friend a bit more interested in current affairs and it's failed, then it kind of shows you clearly that that friend is not interested. So best for you to then decide how do you proceed in a way that is best for you, your mental health.
Yeah, I don't know, guys. What are we talking about? And don't get me wrong, right? Because I do this work every single day, I do find that sometimes when I'm with my friends, we can get consumed by current affairs, and that bores me. And I've actually been very clear with my friends and told them that, especially friends that are in the same industry as me, to a point that sometimes I'll leave them if we're in my house, for instance, in the kitchen or in the lounge, wherever, I'll leave and go sit outside because I'm just bored by that. You know, you also don't want friendships like that or relationships like that where all you guys talk about is the budget deficit, or or is it Marco Rubio in the United States, or you don't want relationships like that, but there must be a balance. Equally so, as much as I don't want to be sitting with people and just talking current affairs, I also don't want to be sitting with people and just being frivolous when the moment requires for it. I mean, we are a nation now that is sitting at odds with the United States. Trump has just made a refugee offer based on false propaganda and misinformation. Anybody who doesn't even know about that, hey, I don't know if I want to chill with them and have a beer or whiskey. It's quite embarrassing. It's quite irresponsible, in fact, not to know the basics. More calls and WhatsApps after this.
The Sharing Space
On the Clement Manyathela Show.
702.
15 minutes before 12 o'clock. Straight to the lines. Khadija, you are in Vereeniging. Good morning.
Good morning, Clement and the listeners. How are you?
I'm all right. What are your thoughts on this topic?
No, the Anonymous is in a wrong friendship. The friend, for me, I think he is irresponsible. He is ignorant because current affairs affect all of us in the world, irrespective what kind of the topic or what. It's affecting all of us. And for me, the Anonymous must just say whatever he wants to say and leave him. If he's not responding on what the Anonymous is wanting to discuss, Madam Yegen, he must move on. Yeah. Because now I'm glad with the circle that I'm living with. Even my kids, we normally pick up the topic and we discuss the topic.
Yes, that's what you must get your kids to also appreciate that. Because current affairs you don't listen to talk radio or to the news on any other station, whether music, commercial or not. And you don't listen to news because you think you're smart or because you want to be smart. You actually listen because it matters. It affects you. You must know about if there's going to be a VAT increase today, what the finance minister is going to announce. You must care to check the headlines later. You must care to listen tomorrow morning. It affects you and your children and your household. And not being aware and choosing that, current affairs is not my thing. As I said, I just think it's irresponsible. Kustas in Midrand, hi.
Hey, Clement, I'm judging this guy 100%, Clement. You know, the country is in this messenger because people don't know anything about what's going on in this country. And then these people are costing us at the vote in the ballot paper. So basically, if there is a serious conversation on the WhatsApp group, and he decides to send another Fiona, and parties, the fans must tell him, hey, stay out of this one, man. This is the current affairs matter. So where and you must be on videos on TikTok. It's not working.
Yeah, but Christians, when you seem like even during pillow talk, Jay, you want to talk about politics, eh?
Clement, politics is the lifeblood. Politics are nice. Politics are exciting. Don't take them personal. You get informed and you got to know a lot of things about politics. Politics runs our country.
Yeah.
So we cannot look aside from these things. So on this side,
does your partner also appreciate it? Like, does your partner engage you when you start these discussions?
Yeah, that's great, Clement. That conversation can go on for a whole lunch time. It's great. Afterwards, you feel good. You're like, hey, yeah, that was a great conversation.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's beautiful. When you've got a partner who also appreciates that, because some people are just a little misaligned on that with their partners. Is your partner just wants to talk about those things and you just get bored, or it's the other way around. So if you get a partner who also loves debating or loves reflecting on these economic or political issues, that's a plus and a plus and a plus, yeah?
Morning, Clement. I really think the friend is really being unfair. We all don't like the same things. We all not interested in the same things. Other people know and understand rugby, tennis, while others have zero interest in that sport. Similarly, maybe the friend is not yet at a place where they are interested in politics or in current affairs. And I'm pretty sure they do know what's happening. It's just that they don't like focusing their energy on it. I just think it's very wrong for a friend to try and impose what they think people at a certain age group should be knowing or talking about. Just be friends and enjoy the company and enjoy whatever discussions that the friend enjoys and move on. If there's other friends that enjoy having current affairs discussions, then have that discussion with them.
Good day, Clement, to you and the team and all 702 listeners. The friend should not chameleon what she or he believes works for him or her towards her friend or his friend, because people cannot all share the same views or look at things the same way or want to live the same way. Look, the friend is enjoying himself sending memes and amapiano songs and is less interested about current affairs. That's fine. That's fine. There's other things that you can talk about. If you want to have a serious conversation, then have a serious conversation with the people that are serious. You can't force other people to have a serious conversation with you when they are too playful. So the friend must chill.
Morning, Clement. I totally get where Anonymous is coming from. And in my experience, I found that they're saying that an empty vessel makes a lot of noise to be true. I mean, those who are ill-informed, in my experience, you'll find them being stubborn and arguing, from an ill-informed point of view. And they're the ones who are even hard to concede when they are wrong. They're just difficult people, And in my field of work, it's even worse, because you find someone. I work in the health sector, and you find someone who's so ignorant about not only current affairs, but even the latest research on certain conditions and medication and all of that.
Yeah. No, ignorance. I'm sorry. In fact, I would go further to say that would be a deal breaker for me. That's not going to work. If you're going to be so ignorant, I don't know. Okay, what do we talk about during our pillow talk? If you are a partner. What, gossip about other people, and then what, joke, and then, oh, how was your day? Those things are all great. You must do that during pillow talk. But when you're having dinner or when you're taking a walk, what else do you talk about? And I think you need a variety. So when you're introducing a conversation about something, current affairs, at least someone must know the basics. We're not saying no as if you're going to be asked a quiz about what happened today. What's the breaking news of the day? No, not really. Like today, later on, I mean, hey friend, did you see VAT has increased or VAT didn't increase? Personal income taxes, stuff like that. Otherwise, yeah, do you now become that friend that is just so frivolous? And because there are other friends that can be serious, but they can also be fun. They can still send their amapiano songs. They can still send memes, but they also can have quite a conversation, because when the news play, they don't switch off. They listen because they understand that that matters. That affects them. Yeah, that would be tough to be with someone who, or even be friends with someone who just doesn't care about current affairs.
Hi, Clement. I think that lady's thing is very legitimate. Hey, often what's very, very irritating is when people don't take pains to inform themselves about what's happening. And, a lot of the time when you're with your friends or with your partner, what gets you going is good conversation. So I think she's just mainly saying about being able to converse about, a variety of things. If you have a partner who is unable to do that, or a friend who's unable to do that, that can be very boring and irritating. This is Koketso from Joburg.
Hey man, I kind of envy that guy because he's living freely. He's so free. He couldn't be bothered by anything. I envy him because sometimes the news can be so consuming and so stressful. You worry about this, you worry about that. It can get a lot sometimes. But he must know something, anything.
Something.
At least something. Just don't not know anything at all. That is very irresponsible.
Yeah, that's my issue as well. Just know something, man. Hi, Clement. I discovered that some people avoid current affairs and news because they are deliberately trying to reduce mental clutter. I found myself in a situation where I'm just feeling overwhelmed by all the things demanding my attention. And in such situations, I become more aware of how my brain actually has limited disk space. So if I must focus my attention on what really matters most and allocate my attention responsibly, I'll stop paying attention to those things that grab attention disproportionately, like Trump. I'll be sitting in a room full of people paying attention to the news bulletin. I'll be physically present, but mentally, I'm thinking about my own stuff and making plans and formulating solutions to pending issues. So if I'm out of touch with the latest news and current affairs, it's typically because I'm just refocusing my attention on more important stuff. And that's also still fine, right? Nobody says listens because some people will say, the news are so heavy, or when I listen to current affairs, things are so heavy. But that's precisely why. In fact, if you follow the history of 702 and you track it from about 5 years ago, you see that the approach to how we even do our radio is different. Because our listeners have told us through our research here that we trust you. We already trust you on the current affairs issues. We just want you to be playful a little bit. We want to laugh with you. That's exactly what we do. You listen to Bongani in the morning. They have great talkers that have got nothing to do with current affairs, but they also have serious conversations. That's the kind of radio we do to accommodate someone who may feel, I don't want to be overwhelmed by either the bad news or whatever. We've got features on this show that are so different. We can talk international affairs. We can talk local politics. We can come now and have conversations like this that are light in nature. We can go talk about sex or relationships on a Friday. That's the nature of radio, is there's always something for somebody. But if you're going to switch off whenever important conversations that matter to you, that affect you and your family and your country are being relayed, I'm not sure that's responsible.
Morning, Clement. I now have two sets of friends, I'll have friends that I just for the fun, for the drinks, nothing major to talk about. Then I have a group of friends that understand these kind of topics, understand the global news and understand where the world is heading. Thank you.
Hi, Clement. So I'm in my early 30s myself, and I think it was instilled in me from a very young age to watch news and know what's happening around me. So that being that, I cannot for the life of me stand adults, batona, who do not watch news, who do not know what's happening in the world around them. For you, like, life is just about vibes. It cannot be like that. You cannot be over 18. Kids even watch news. My son is 8 years old, but he knows who Donald Trump is because he gets that from his mother. I watch news a lot. I consume news from the time that I wake up until like late in the evenings. So I definitely judge friends or adults who do not watch news because you cannot live like that.
Hey, Clement, I think that friend should just accept the other friend who's not interested in current affairs for who they are. Me, for example, I've got a lot of friends that do all sorts of sports. I don't like sports. I'm 47, never played, never watched. I don't enjoy it. I just feel it's a waste of time. So I would not want somebody to change me for their own purposes. I'm happy the way I am. Thanks, Clement. Great show.
Thank you, brother. I hear that. But also sports, how much of sports affects the bottom line? Yeah? So, I mean, I saw the Kaizer Chiefs versus Supersport match last night. I saw the results, but doesn't affect the bottom line. But the Minister of Finance, when he announces a VAT increase or an increase in personal income tax, that affects the bottom line. You should know about that.